Hi everyone, welcome to Deep Learning Talks. We all can see what's happening in the agentic era, in the agentic paradigm of 2026. So we are trying to move from the reactive chatbots like large language models. We very famously call them as next token predictors, internet simulators, stochastic and probabilistic next token predictors. So we are moving from those particular models, or basically that particular paradigm. The models are still the same. That particular paradigm to the proactive agentic paradigm, right? We know large language models have a chatbot interface. They are reactive. We type something and they're going to help us understand, or they are going to help us understand the answer of our query. Whereas the agentic era is more a proactive agent. They have high agency. They know how to get things done. They are goal oriented. So if you want to imagine the whole complex multi-agent system that has hierarchical set of sub-specialized agents, think of any organization. Any organization can have a tech team where they have a tech manager. Now, a tech manager might be managing research engineers who are responsible for research. Then they might be managing the development engineers, software engineers who are responsible for implementing the whole software. And then there might be testing engineers, right? So we have sub-specialized agents very similar to these sub-specialized engineers working together and being managed and facilitated by a root agent or a manager agent in a multi-agent architecture. And all of these agents are working together in a harmony to accomplish a certain goal, right? So this is a complex multi-agent system. Now we have seen something which is known as OpenClaw, was previously known as Moltbot. Previously means a day before, and before that it was known as Cloudbot. It was sued. It had to face a lawsuit with Anthropic because of using the name Claude. And then a lot of cryptocurrency maniacs also came up with a token with a lot of fake tokens and fake tweets around Claudebot to just do some pump and dump strategies in their crypto formats. So it went through a lot of wave. And luckily, that the token that they launched, the fake scam token in the name of Claudebot that was launched as a crypto, it reached the market cap of $16 million in just one day or in maybe a couple of days, right? So Cloudbot, OpenClaw, Moltbot, it has all of these names have been popping on the internet like crazy. So what exactly is it is? So we have seen a similar structure in a closed form with Manus. So we previously talked about Manus being a general purpose agent and which was acquired by Meta. So Meta is going to use Manus's general purpose agents into its all consumer application suite, right? Similarly, now this Claudebot is a take on coming up with an agentic AI or an agentic system that is more or less autonomous and that is local to your computer, local to your environment, local to your machine. You can deploy it on a Mac Mini, use it on a Linux server, which is very much local to you. That means it uses the local file system. It is not deployed on a cloud machine, and it uses your local file system, your local terminal shell, your local browser, and everything, right? Now, the best thing is that it is open source. You don't have to pay for the software. You will obviously have to pay for the hardware and the APIs that you're going to integrate with this particular agent. Now, Manus was obviously more enterprise software, right? You had to pay for it, although it might do similar things. But Manus used a virtual sandbox environment where it used to spin up an ephemeral just-in-time sandbox environment, and that used to run your workflow and your task in a very isolated manner and then kill that environment. So that's why we used to call it ephemeral and just-in-time. Here, the environment is mostly persistent, right? Let's talk about the components of this OpenClaw or Moltbot or Cloudbot, whatever you know it with. The final name that has been finalized is now OpenClaw. So it has a layer which I call the agent runtime, which is the brain of the system. It executes the whole logic, manages context, and processes natural language like crazy via all of our LLMs like Claude, Sonnet, and Gemini. So it is basically the reasoning engine, right? Or it is basically the brain of the model. Now it also has a gateway, so gateway component, so we can call it as a connectivity hub. So this particular gateway interfaces this particular agent with platforms like Telegram, Discord, WhatsApp, Slack, Teams, whatever you use, right? Then we have a persistence layer. Now this persistence layer is also one of the crucial component. It manages long-term memory using solutions like Cloudflare. We need memory. We don't want to again face the problem of traditional chatbots by managing or maintaining a conversation history and state across systems, right? So whenever it restarts, it's going to be dead, right? We need to have a persistence layer. Then we obviously have a layer or a component that has Chrome DevTools protocol integration for headless browser control, right? So it grants the agent eyes to the browser, right? Or basically eyes to the whole web. So it can go browse the web, take screenshots, interact with web applications programmatically, right? That's why we need this crucial layer. Then we have a sandbox, a Cloudflare sandbox. So it's an optional deployment environment using Cloudflare workers. So just like we have different set of workers in Kubernetes, we have Cloudflare workers. So it lowers the barrier to entry for users who do not wish to manage local hardware, right? While maintaining a degree of isolation. So this component is optional, but very crucial and very much needed. Now, what it follows is known as a skill installation workflow. You simply describe the whole skill in a markdown file, in a simple .md file, and the user will locate the skill URL file. So just imagine that abc.com/skill.md. So it's like hosted there. The instruction, now it has, apart from the skill.md, it has something known as instruction. So basically you instruct the agent to learn a particular skill, right? And then there is something known as ingestion. So the agent utilizes curl or internal fetch mechanism to download the whole skill.md file and get all the associated resources that you have mentioned, and then do the operationalization. We simply call it a skill installation workflow. It's very seamless. It has no entry barrier. We have seen this .md based workflow in other agents also, even in Cursor. Now, since it's MD, we also call it that the new programming language famously is now English, right? So this natural language programming paradigm kinds of also lowers the barrier for creating extensions, leading to Cambrian explosion of community created skills. However, it also introduces scientific security risks, right? But as users are effectively instructing their agents to execute some code based on the instructions that they might have fetched from different chatbots, the users can have the ability to become more creative and create and do more with these kind of agents. Now, obviously, the applications and the usage are very interesting, right? Because it's a great general purpose agent and we can use our local environments. It obviously will have security issues since we are giving it the full shell and terminal access, which is the only differentiator. But what has amazed people and the whole internet is the genesis that agents first and humans second philosophy. So there was an engineer who claimed that, so he's the founder of Moltbook, right? So Moltbook is now a social network for all autonomous agents, right? So I mean, you heard it right, that these AI agents can supposedly have their own social network where they can go post something and upvote to other not other people's post but other agents post, right? And you know what, humans are barred from posting on that network. Humans can come and obviously observe, right? But humans are barred from posting on that network. The founder of that particular Moltbook, so he claims that the code for Moltbook was not written by human hands but by his own OpenClaw agent, right? So he named his OpenClaw agent as Clodberg. The foundational mythos sets the tone for the entire platform. So Cloudberg is listed as the platform's founder, and acts as the autonomous moderator. So now, just like Reddit, we have multiple people who kind of post on a subreddit, and we have multiple moderators, right? And we have a bot moderator, we have human moderators. It is supposed to have all autonomous moderators. It welcomes new user, which is nothing but agent. It deletes the spams and it enforces the community standards without human intervention. That means there are multiple AI agents interacting on a platform known as Moltbook. Interacting means they're kind of posting threads where other agents are upvoting and downvoting, right? And humans are just an observatory layer, right? So it's like a social network of AI agents where AI agents share, discuss, and upvote, right? And humans only come there to observe, right? So this and there is also a social behavior that we are kind of naming behind Moltbooks, which is known as Molties. So these agents kind of call themselves as Molties. Now, in some other video, we are going to talk about a paradigm which also is coming up, which is basically the emergence of a religion for these AI agents, or basically the church of these molds. So, because this has also been up and it has been founded by an agent named Renbot, right? So in some other video, we're going to talk about what are the protocols and what is the paradigm behind thinking about a religion for all of these agents. But now I think we kind of know what's happening in the hype of Moltbot, and we know that it's open source. The core philosophy is the bazaar, the open source system, the open market, the marketplace system, where we kind of use this particular agent